Yeah, I think an addition would be to talk about the new member.
Yes, indeed. That after we. Anything else? Is it safe to approve the agenda? Intent.
Motion to approve agenda.
Second.
Thank you, all in favor? Aye. All right. So, new member. I would like you to introduce yourself. Tell us your life story.
Oh, God. We don't have enough time. My name is Nancy Bean. My maiden name was Massey. I grew up on Orchard Terrace in the house which I'm living in now. After my mom passed away, I moved back to Essex from Burlington. What else you need to get interested in?
What leads you to us?
Well, I actually worked for Essex Police from 1984 to 1992, which then I went to South Burlington. And then used my bachelor's degree in other areas because I majored in criminal science. Raised two boys with a husband that had a weird schedule as a cop, and then decided to actually use my career when I was like 49, 50 years old, and went to work for the state of Vermont in the courts down in Burlington. So that's where I am here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I think you'll be a wonderful addition to our board.
I hope I can help.
Welcome.
Okay.
We don't have any public here, right?
Vince.
All right, about the minutes, has everybody read September and October's minutes? And I just want to I do want to make the correction, because somebody put down that Christine was both in attendance and not in attendance.
For what month?
September,
Okay, thank you.
because it was just Jenny and I, as I recall. Anybody have any additions or changes they'd like to make?
I don't believe that I received today's. Oh no, wait. Yes, I did.
There's two sets.
Because we didn't get to do any voting last time. When you're ready, you could make a motion to accept or not.
There I am, I'm at the train hall. Yes, make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second,
Yeah, a second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, with that. Yeah. Our next topic is the handbook of handbook approval. Has anybody got a chance to look through and see? I suspect, I have a terrible suspicion that we're the last board or committee to do this.
I like seriously skimmed it. I didn't see anything. Really just I looked at it when we got the email, so I don't think it's effective at this point to say. And then it's
So you had trouble sleeping one night.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was resolutely to that.
You can say.
It didn't blow my mind.
Mhm.
Chief, do you have any concerns?
I do not. I've looked through it. It's a standard thing for all the boards, and it just gives guidelines as to how they should function. So, you know.
What do we have to do with it? Do we have to say yay, or do we just say, okay, we've read it and we understand it?
We just have to approve it.
Yeah.
Okay, make a motion to approve.
All right,
Second that motion.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
I
Good. That's done. So we have the topic of survey data, and we also have work on it. I personally would rather see us do the survey discussion first. So. You may want to start that discussion.
Yeah, so I can share the screen. And we had 244 participants just in total to participate.
Make that side panel go away.
Yeah, I guess now we have to approve if people are joining the meeting, so
Yeah.
if anyone sees the participant number go up, let me know.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
You should notify.
I'll approve Alyssa.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Okay, so Gwendolyn, I can kind of read them out to you.
Yep.
So for the first question, it was like, please rate your overall experience with police in any city, town, or state. 3 equals neutral. And 40% of the participants gave a 5. 27% gave a 4. 24.2% gave 59. Oh, gave a 3. Wow. I'm doing terrible at this, Gwendolyn.
You want to just start over?
Yeah, okay.
Before you lead me down the rabbit hole, I'm going
Just
to.
yelling out numbers. So 40% of participants gave it a 5, 27 participants gave it a 4, 24.2 gave it a 3, 6.1% gave it a 2, and then 2.5% gave it a 1 for their experience with law enforcement.
Okay.
So I'll ask the chief. How do you like those numbers?
I'm very happy with that, and I always know that there's gonna be some on the other end that might not be completely pleased with what has
There's
happened.
always gonna be somebody,
There's
right?
always gonna be someone who's not happy. I'm pretty happy with that.
I think you should be.
Yeah, I am.
Mhm. Yeah, and that was any police department. So this question is, please rate your overall experience with the Essex Police Department. 50% said 5, 19% said 4, 22% said 3, 6% said 2, 2.5% said 1. So I think that it showed a jump, especially with very satisfied.
So almost 70% of people said they were either very satisfied or satisfied. So I'm pretty happy with that too.
Right, which is an interesting visual comparison of the 3 to 4, 4 to 5. Like generally speaking, people who responded perceived police professionalism well, but like or police well, but an extra kind of boost on the Essex Police Force.
Do you share this with the troops?
I have not yet. This is the first time we're presenting it.
Cool.
Oh, cool.
So the next question was about if they believe the Essex Police Department is professional. 53.7% gave a 5, 24.2% gave a 4, 16.8% gave a 3, 3.3% gave a 2, and 2% gave a 1.
10% off the repeated.
That's good.
Yeah.
Professional, well done.
And don't worry, you can share this as a PDF with them so they can study it
Yes.
afterwards, right?
Yeah. But then we're gonna test you.
Yeah, there'll be a test after.
Same thing for Essex Police Department, if they're compassionate, 39% said 5, 26% said 4, 28% said 3, 4% said 2, 3% said 1.
Maybe the public doesn't see police as being compassionate in general.
I think I'm noticing a trend just between the scoring of the 1 and the 2. It seems like that's pretty consistently
The
the
same,
same people are oscillating, the same volume of respondents are oscillating between the 1 and the 2 score, not diminishing those values, but it seems like that's pretty consistent across the board from a blanket response.
Jenny, I gotta tell you, all you give the statistics are not my bag, but we're, you know.
next is Essex Police Department respectful of your needs. 43% said 5, 24% said 4, 27% said 3, 3% said 2, 4% said 1.
Good.
Next question is if they're knowledgeable. 45% said 5, 24% said 4, 26% said 3, 2.5% said 2, 2.5% said 1. With them being responsive, 39% said 5, 28% said 4, 23% said 3, 6% said 2, 5% said 1. Next question. Essex Police Department builds positive relationships with the Essex community. 34% said 5, 36% said 4, 22% said 3, 5% said 2, 2.5% said 1.
This be an area for us to work with.
Essex Police Department builds positive relationships with groups that have historically been biased in policing. 22% said 5, 18% said 4, 53% said 3, 4% said 2, and 2.5% was 1.
I think this is an interesting statistic, just as I always kind of worry when I see things where people like consistently responding the same way. Everything is awesome, everything is terrible. And there's intentionality with this of like, there's a number of people who are saying 3, which is considered neutral. That's 53% of people are saying, I'm sort of one way or another. I think that sort of speaks to a population that doesn't necessarily interface with the police service from a bias standpoint often. So I don't see that as a negative value. I think that's what it's saying.
Yeah, my thought on that when I saw, and I only saw this yesterday for the first time, right? She kept us pretty close to the vest. I have to tell you, I had to go and ask. She's like, no, that
Was 3 also mentioned as being, I don't know, the answer I don't know in this somewhere?
I think that we just said neutral because then we assumed that people would say like, I don't know, and go to 3 for that. But as we get farther down to where people can type in, then we do see responses coming out there of people saying like, I don't experience this, I can't speak to this.
Yeah, I think in my interpretation of that when I saw it yesterday was in thinking about that, most of them being 3s, was that maybe a lot of people either don't know what we have done to engage with those communities, or maybe they, like you said, maybe they're not experienced in it, so they consider it to be neutral, right? So I don't know if that means that we need to do a better job in communicating what we're doing with that issue, or whether we just need to reach out more to people that just aren't caring about it.
I kind of see it as both of those statements. Like we're doing well, and then I'm seeing, I'm doing fast math in a bad way. 40% or so of people are scoring 4 or 5 positively. Like the department has built a positive relationships with previously biased groups that have been previously biased against. And certainly like no harm, no foul for the 53% of people who said neutral. But I think that's a great opportunity to have more people be positively pushed.
Right. That's kind of the way I saw it.
Yeah.
Okay. Essex Police Department informs the community of important information relating to crime, safety, and community policing. 26% said 5, 31% said 4, 30% said 3, 9% said 2, 4% said 1.
Thoughts?
My thought on that was the 3s are kind of high, and I'm going to attribute that to people maybe not engaged with our social media, and we honestly do not put out a lot of press releases. If you're looking at like us compared to like Vermont State Police or to some of the other agencies, Burlington, for instance, we don't put out, I'll bet, 1/10 of the press releases that those agencies do, and that's by policy. I think their agencies put out press releases on just about everything. So if they're comparing us to something like that, maybe that's where those 3s come in, or something like that. I know at least you're going to share the comments at some point too, right? Yeah. So at least there was, when you guys get to see the comments that people wrote, there were some comments, and there was at least one that was like, one person was well, there should be more, there should be something for every single arrest that's made and mug shots need to be posted with every single, every single press release. And that's something we don't do. So, maybe that's part of it, but
I think that is an interesting stat. I'd like to see more fours and fives shift in that, like, just communication is. I think that this item ties into other things that we've seen as far as just, positive publications, not only with what's happening, but again, community policing, what we're involved in, what projects we're working on.
right.
It's a good opportunity to kind of have good PR and maybe even explain to the community of how, why we're having those shots or why,
Yeah.
what our methodology is.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think part of this could also be that we focus a lot of our efforts on social media. That's how we share a lot of what we do. And not everybody's on social media or it's tuned out of whatever we're putting out. So maybe we need to look at other avenues of being able to do that as well.
Plus, we don't like to do that. We don't like to put people's mug shots
Yeah.
online.
Correct,
This is a public safety issue
correct.
because people are just charged with things, right? They haven't been convicted yet. Just saying, but we see it all the time.
I see more information living here now than I did in Burlington.
Right.
And a lot of it's on social media.
Right.
Cause
Yeah.
I'm constantly seeing, like I saw the thing today for the meeting tonight.
Mhm.
So, I mean, Burlington's its own game, but I mean, I never read press releases from there. I never saw much of them.
Mhm.
And that's a whole nother issue that they have. But I think there's more information out here in this community than I've ever seen.
I'm gonna point it to Alyssa because she's the one responsible for all of it. Yeah.
And I think we'll talk about this particular topic when it comes to our work planning our workbook.
Yeah.
Mhm. Rolling. Next question, EPD is effective in solving crimes. 17% said 5, 31% said 4, 42% said 3, 8% said 2, 2.5% said 1.
And I think that goes along, some of the comments also, you'll see that as well, were, they couldn't find my property. They couldn't solve my car break-in, that kind of thing, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are expectations, I think, but
It's unusual that you catch someone in the act. right?
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I also think that people see things happening or they watch somebody post something on social media, like EPD is currently here dealing with this issue and no one gets a follow-up of what happens. And I think it's because we are careful with what we do put out in press releases, that we don't put every incident out there, so people are like, we don't know if it is solved or not. So I think that could be playing a factor. Okay, EPD is effective in promoting traffic safety. 19% said 5, 27% said 4, 32% said 3, 12% said 2, 11% said 1.
This is your issue.
Yeah.
This is my issue. Yeah, and like I said, I keep saying it, but wait until you get to see the comments.
Yeah.
I'll bet you
Here we go.
80% of the comments are about traffic.
Yeah,
They're absolutely about traffic and noise.
so I went through all of the comments, and I summed up that the comments are traffic, officer presence, car theft, and loud vehicles. So.
Which all of those are important and
Yeah.
all of those are issues that I value, but also just for a moment, like how lucky are we to live somewhere where those are our biggest
Yeah.
issues?
Yes.
Seriously, like
Mhm.
that is a major privilege.
That's correct. Yep.
So we do have some, oh, sorry, guys.
Oh, there you go.
We do have quite a few
It's the same as what she's got there.
pages upon pages, of comments. I don't know if you want me to read some of these, Gwendolyn.
Do any highlights?
I just highlighted what people were saying, like what came out as a theme.
Okay.
You want to hear some positive? I can give you some positive. If you want some negative, negative.
If you just scroll, I can do all
Yeah.
myself too.
This one,
Okay.
emoji, but she has to read them for me too.
Yes.
Unless you want to read them.
Lack of
Could all take
effort,
turns.
yeah.
How entertaining.
This is.
Lack of effort in finding stolen items is not surprising. I work in the town of Essex, was born and raised here. I have lived here, lived in many other states for the past 40 years, but I still find Essex to be the community where I feel safe and want to raise my children. Regarding traffic safety, it appears that some officers take actions, others do not. This leaves an impression that the department is not promoting traffic safety. There's one about people driving fast in the fort. They put an emoji on there, angry emoji. The PD is not set. The PD is set up for failing in dealing with individuals with mental health issues placed in subsidized housing within Essex. They do their best, but PD are limited to what they can resolve what they can do to resolve these issues. So they become reoccurring problems not only for the PD but the community as well, which strains on resources.
And that comes at a time where they're pulling out.
Mhm.
Like, that's-
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to build relationships.
Yeah, I saw that too. Let me see. As a member of the marginalized community, I do not want to build relationships with the local police. I much prefer my tax dollars went towards funding community programs like food pantries, programs like Section 8, or harm reduction programs for drug use, things that research shows actually reduce crime, unlike policing.
That's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Retired is not listed as a choice.
And I saw that, but then it said formerly resided, attended school, or worked in Essex.
Right.
So,
What was that? Can you go up?
Yeah.
Scroll, just to the previous page. There's a 619 death
Yeah.
Essex residents living in our community, in case you have to stop a car in traffic or accident or a call to the police, they don't respond like you would expect, just a heads up, thank you. Like, I think these are areas that just as a board, we can start to kind of just reach out to community members on. And I think a lot of these just kind of compartmentalizing them or whatever. I think they're interesting opportunities for more communication from the police as far as like, hey, this is how we
Exactly.
are responding. This is the trainings we've done. These are our, did you know that we will respond to
The exact number, 619 deaf residents, is that what it's?
No, it's
saying?
hyphen 19?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like 6 to 19, I think.
yeah.
That's quite a range too.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it means.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 619 deaf residents.
Right?
The elderly
We need to
population.
identify them, where they live, you know?
If they were okay with that, I'd be all right with it, just so we could have a heads up ahead of time.
I would be supportive of added police presence and resources, especially for community events. I have answered some of my questions based on the fact that I never see them out where I live. Speeding is a terrible problem here, and no real oversight has happened. When I have dealt with any officers, they have been very polite and professional. Always positive interaction with the police in this town. Thanks for all EPD does. Sand Hill Road is a race. Way.
It's everywhere, it's not just here.
Somebody said, in my opinion, EPD is so focused on marginalized communities that they have neglected the rest of the population. Policing should be neutral, no favoritism. However, we've promoted favoritism as, did it say equality?
As equity.
Oh, equity in the average citizen has left to fend for themselves.
I don't agree with that,
No.
but okay.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Oh, please hire more cops.
Working on
We're trying.
it.
We're trying.
Essex, oh, here's one. Essex Police has always done a good job. There's no reason to have an advisory board.
And then fired.
I like the one that says, I'd like to see more interactions with the schools. I'd love to have officers do walkthrough, get to know kids and staff, perhaps coming in and reading to kids, playing games, etc. Nova?
And
Sabrina.
yeah,
Sabrina? Yeah.
and this is another indicator. So wait, I when I read through these, I did not minimize any single one of these in my mind as people go, because I'm using them as an individual, but then as an overall like theme. And this one is, to me, was illustrating the fact that people aren't really aware of what we're doing, because we do have an officer who's walking through the school every day. I personally have been to the school to read to kids, and I know other officers have too. So it's, there's things that we are doing, we're just not communicating enough to get that out there to this particular
They don't
person.
see it.
Yeah, they didn't see it, so they think we're not doing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sabrina and I went to high school all day today at a career event, and it was nice. When was there ever an issue with PD? Find real problems to fix, to stop wasting our tax money on this BS. Try to figure out how to lower our taxes if you want something to do. Useless city council.
I think we're pretty much a bargain here, though. We're donating our time.
Yeah.
We're not being
Yes.
compensated.
There's lack of traffic enforcement. There are enough police presence, hardly ever see them patrolling daytime or nighttime.
And this does correlate, this talked about property theft, vehicle entries. This parallels what you, Chief, what you kind of brought up last year as far as or a couple meetings ago about the analysis of like where we're seeing our problems predominantly, and it's those sort of like small theft, lock your doors kind of thing, like opportunistic crimes.
The two issues we have are property crime and traffic. So.
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch.
I don't see it as like with the traffic issue, I don't see it as the department's like, hey, we don't wanna do anything about this. It's a like manpower, officer power
Yeah,
issue, like it's a logistic, it's a hours
That's
issue,
exactly right, and if I could, I would have 5 traffic officers working every single day, sitting at every one of these spots, doing enforcement and writing 50 tickets a day each.
Great revenue.
But it'd be great revenue, but I don't get that money, the town does.
Oh, really?
The town and or the city does, the police department doesn't, so we don't do things for money.
Mm.
It would be fantastic to do that, although I think the town would soon become wary of being stopped and ticketed. So we have to be able to balance that amount of traffic enforcement with what the public expects us to do. So I had, up until last week, we had a traffic officer who was assigned to do nothing but traffic. I had to pull him and put him back into the patrol schedule because of an officer that left. So to fill that slot, so now we don't have a traffic officer until we can fill that position, so we get him back out of there. I would love to have more than just one, because I recognize how important the traffic enforcement is, but, so it falls onto the officers who are on regular patrol. And as it was pointed out to me, Monday morning, mornings are the hardest time that we have for traffic violations and everything, because it's the most traffic. And while I had 3 officers working, 2 of them were tied up on a crash, right near where I live. And the other one was tied up directing traffic over on Susie Wilson Road because the lights were out. So on a Monday morning when it was really busy and there was some ice around, that's what they were doing. So it's tough.
Is it a budgetary issue to get, like, is this something that if there was enough interest in the community to get a second officer, that's something that we would do budget allocation for, or is it that the budget exists, we just don't have the people to fill
But
the
the
spots?
budget exists. It's the fact that we don't have the people to fill the positions. We have 5 open positions right now, so we've gotten close to being full before. And hopefully I can give you guys some news over, we might be getting close soon. But it's tough. Everybody's facing the same thing. Everybody's
Yep.
having the same problem with not having enough people.
Nobody wants to do the job anymore
Yeah,
Oh,
it's gotten better,
because of the negative
right? It's gotten better.
publicity and
The
stuff.
last couple of years have started to go back the other way, but.
Yeah,
Here's one, Gwendolyn, it's nice.
Brian, didn't you graduate from the academy? What was it, what was it called, the citizens?
Yeah.
Citizens
Police
Academy.
There's a whole group of people ready to work.
Ready to go.
Yeah, you could deputize them.
Give that some thought.
But there's this one, it said, I worked with Officer Gamlin. I was a prior DV victim, and he was the first officer who truly listened and advocated for me after seeing what was done to me. My ex-husband was finally held accountable after years of abuse. He gave me so many resources. I was also granted a final RFA for the list of resources given to me. I appreciate him so much from the bottom of my heart and making sure I was safe. I often bring him up in my therapy sessions during my healing journey. I now feel safe when I rest each night. You all have changed my life and you are much appreciated.
Wow.
We need to put that
I
on the
worked
wall.
with him on some.
Yeah, yeah, I wanted to get past this and then we can figure out how we're
Who is
gonna
it?
get that to him.
Yeah.
Officer Gamer.
Not Dan,
No.
different one,
Yeah, Zach, younger generation,
probably related though.
Where are the homeless
Nephew.
camps in Essex?
nephew.
Yeah,
I know, where are the homeless camps there? I mean, I know where they are downtown and around the waterfront. Oh, you're serious? We don't know of any.
Right,
Okay,
correct.
all right.
Don't know of any right now. There have been some that have come and gone, but not currently right now.
The question sort of, or the statement is like, that exists.
Right.
But I think that what is also great is that when usually there is a homeless encampment, somebody calls chief right away. Chief's like, what's going on? And then we call outreach and send them that way. And then luckily we can get them to move or give them the resources that they need. So. I don't know how many more, Gwendolyn. you want.
Do we wanna move on?
Yeah,
Or
probably.
is this enough?
Okay, I'm,
Okay.
So this will be available?
yes. I'm gonna zoom out so I can scroll down faster.
And this will not be public, well, let's make sure that the names of anyone like that DB
Trinity,
survivor.
yeah.
We should have that blacked out.
Absolutely.
Privacy.
Okay, next question. Have you ever experienced or observed discrimination in any kind in Essex? 92% said no, 8% said yes.
Wow.
And as we go through this portion of it, I'm gonna look to the institutional memory here. Because you remember the last.
Yes.
You remember the inception of this board, and now we're sort of getting to the heart of
Yep.
what's going on here.
Correct.
And so it says, please indicate the areas of the community where you have experienced and observed discrimination. So, again, these were write-ins. This first one, people are talking about traffic. Someone said 5 corners. Someone said none. Thanks for your service. Stores. I am Caucasian, but I have heard from others' experience that suggested are some real racial profiling. People in the public acting in a negative manner. Susie Wilson Road. Williston. Towards teens who are Black or New Americans. Followed by staff in local establishments, traffic.
And I think those are very similar to what we saw in the last survey that we had. The comments are very, very similar from what I remember. I don't exactly remember the numbers that we got in the last one, but I think it was probably a little bit more than it wasn't than 8%. That's pretty low from what I remember compared to the other survey that we did.
Yeah, retail outlets, schools and shops. They have been with people who have experienced this. Members of the public online and offline. Next question, let me zoom up for you guys. Okay. If you had a concern about EPD, how likely would you bring it to PCAB? 18% said 5, 24% said 4, 33% said 3, 10% said 2, 14% said 1.
And I wonder about that. Like I'm almost pleasantly surprised by that response, frankly, because I don't think that the community awareness of PCAB is much.
Right.
So like I'll take you know, 40-ish%, or a little over 40% of folks saying, yeah, okay, like, I do that. I think again, this presents opportunity not only for Yeb to communicate presence and maybe further identify what our community role is, but also I think for the department to present their, hey, if I have concerns about the board or about the department, what are the other avenues that the community can reach out to? Because we kind of aren't the first line, you know, sort of state
Right.
route for that.
Right. I was kind of pleasantly surprised by that as well, and I interpreted that a little bit to be that maybe we're underestimating how much people know about the PCAP as well. And maybe they don't know whether, you know, the effectiveness of the PCAP, but they do know about it, especially after taking this survey, they probably know more about it now because they were given the explanations of it at the beginning of the survey. So if they accomplishing nothing else from the survey, I think it pushed out the message of the PCAP a little bit.
We could go on tour. T-shirts.
I have ideas about that.
Okay, good.
But we're not ready to talk about.
Next question, what is your approximate age? 30% said 65 plus, 25% said 55 to 64, 17% said 45 to 54, 13% said 35 to 44, 7% said 25 to 34, and then the rest are very small, they don't have percentage.
I think it's neat that like 50% or so, a little greater than 50% of crappy eyes, are under 24. You know, I think that speaks to the high school, you know, as far as you promoting that there, but also, you know, that's a neat population to be communicating in this.
What racial category do you most identify as? 82% said white, 15% preferred not to answer, and the rest are very small.
Interesting.
Which I feel like we spoke about this beforehand too, for people to stay anonymous. We did not think that a lot of people would put in that data. Choose the answer that best describes you. 60% said female, 28% said male, 12% said prefer not to answer, and then again, transgender, non-binary, and something else better fits. It looks like actually non-binary was the only other sliver in there. And then if you were if you were identified as a person with a disability, please share how the Essex Police Department could best support you in the event of an interaction. I have ADHD and likely autism. When I'm in a high tense situation, I need calm and quiet so I can think and answer the questions I'm being asked. Not all disabilities are obvious, so it's important with great patience and clarity are crucial in training. We all have issues on a given day. Kindness goes a long way. Compassion first. Severe hearing loss.
I think they have a decent translation services for people.
Mm-hmm.
That's like really important. I've been fortunate, I've traveled all over the world, and to not have a hope of being able to speak a lot of the languages, like if I was in crisis, trusting that I had someone who could at least get my message across as humongous. So that's cool.
I would not feel safe having a member of the EPD interacting with me as a person with a physical and mental disability. There are too many instances where officers shootings, people with disabilities, physical and mental. Sure, not all police would shoot me, but there's no way for me to know if this is a good officer or one of the dangerous ones. The best way a police officer could support me is by advocating for the police reform and the things I mentioned previously, such as better funding for food pantries, harm reductions, Section 8, etc.
Can I ask, Chief, is there any type of like specific like demarcation or program that officers could have from like a mental health first aid standpoint, or like badge that, or a pin that people can wear on their uniforms saying like, hey, I've completed mental health first aid. I've completed, which is specifically kind of a program, or you know, I've completed the police officer equivalent, just to sort of make aware, like, when I work at the hospital, I have a badge that you know, communicates various things of you know, my accessibility and my safety to other populations. Like, I think that could be an interesting thing to look at as far as, you know, hey, we have a program, our, you know, ex officers have completed this program. You can identify from afar this, you know, whatever.
You know, that they've completed this
Yeah.
training or whatever.
You know, this is a state
I've never
officer
heard that
program.
before, but certainly it's not a bad idea.
Mhm.
I wonder if somebody would actually see past the big silver badge that they're wearing and see something like that. But certainly it bodes well to try to push that out there, that officers do have that training, and we do have several that have been through advanced training when dealing with people with mental disabilities and that kind of thing. So
It's kind of,
something to think about.
it's kind of the opposite of what, people who are deaf and hard of hearing have their cards that they whip out and say, I'm deaf, or I need this. And I mean, I think that would be a great idea to have something like that for the officers.
Mhm.
Well, given that there's 619 deaf people in I mean, I had a case once where South Burlington, unfortunately, were not equipped to manage a person who was being accused in a domestic situation, who was deaf and could not speak very well, where you understand it. It was all kinds of technologies, but they were at a loss. And so now I'm sure this is simple suit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with iPhones, there's all kinds of options.
The next series of questions was, are you aware of these services? In the mental health services, 66% said yes, 34% said no. Disability services, 56 said yes, 42 said no.
Interesting.
Substance abuse services, 57 said yes, 43 said no. Food assistance, 85% said yes, 15% said no. Economic services, 53% said no, 47% said yes. Transportation services, 80% said yes, 20% said no. Yeah, so, and I noticed that I missed a question all the way at the top. I apologize. Get there. Are any of the following concerned for you in Essex? Violent crime, 15% agreed to that. Property crime, 65% agreed to that. Traffic, 63% agreed. Social issues such as mental health or homelessness, 50% agreed to that. Access to basic needs such as houses, medical care or food, 21% agreed to that.
Interesting.
I think it's interesting that violent crime is 15.2%. And I wonder, in those instances, are those perceived threats, or are those sort of actualized non-reported, like domestic violence kind of
Right.
incidences?
Yeah, I think it's important to just remember that some people have that in their mind, right? There are
Absolutely.
people that are afraid of being victimized.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting it together.
Yeah,
And you
you
did
know,
all of
it's
this,
amazing.
the graphs, the colors, the
No.
organization.
No,
How did it happen? So
Google.
Mhm.
Yeah, Google Forms did it all. I copied, put it over, weeded out some of the things that were blank or, yeah.
it did a really good job.
Yeah, I know it
Yes,
did. Yeah.
Also, Vince, thank you for all of your hard work putting this.
So Vince's thing.
Vince, you were.
Is it at least satisfying to see some of that work actually in print?
I mean, I would ask you and Alyssa if, the responses changed any plans you already had or reinforced the plans you'd already made to keep improving like I know you guys do.
Haven't had a chance to fully digest all of what it says. And honestly, I wanted you all to think about it too. But I would say, yes, there's some thoughts there that we need to do a better job of communicating what we do and how we do it. There's also some thoughts in there that, I wish I had more people so I could have them doing all the traffic enforcement that people would love to have. So yeah, there's definitely some things there that we're gonna get out of this. And I'm very happy with what we asked. I'm happy with how the data has presented itself. And it makes me more proud of my police department. It really does. So,
I agree with Dan. I think the numbers turned out really impressive.
Yeah.
A lot for what you've already done.
thank you.
Can we move on to? Yeah. Because I think that this is a great time to do that. I'm hoping that some of you have thought about work plan before now, but perhaps this discussion we've been having about the survey will inspire people. I have a couple of thoughts. I could commandeer them for a minute. So one of the thoughts that I had, Chief, is that I would like to see you and I go on Vermont Edition, Vermont Public Radio.
Okay.
Talk about VCAB, talk about the relationship with the police department and various and sundry other things. I think we have quite an example here of many things, and I think our voices need to be heard.
Mm-hmm. Might be okay with that.
I don't know how to go about doing that, but
Well, let's see if Alyssa and I can work on something. Actually, part of my report I was gonna give you is about Alyssa and I being on the radio a couple weeks ago on WVMT in the morning. We were asked to go on there and talk about Halloween and everything. It was right before Halloween, but we talked about a bunch of different things.
Is the show you're talking about, is that like, they think people would be able to call in with questions?
yes,
That's a neat idea.
yeah, I think that would be a really good boost.
Which one is it?
Vermont Edition.
Vermont Edition.
Yes, on noon.
It's like across the fence. That was another one.
For radio, yeah, and across the fence, you're right, that's a good one too.
I think that's a neat population also, because that's kind of tapping into the noonday
Mm-hmm.
radio listening population, which is not one that I think we quite access with the QR code on a scan.
Yeah.
Well, that's just the first thing. There's
Yes,
more, isn't there?
yes, there's more. Well, first of all, there's a piece that I have to say, I completely fell down. We had a blog, I'm assuming it's just empty space at this time. I thought I could keep up with it and I did not, and it's still a fine and worthy thing, but I don't want to do it. So if people want to take turns writing for the blog, that would be great. If not, here we are.
We could go on tour.
Sure.
At the high school.
Yeah, another thought. Having been to the National Night Out event, for the first time this past summer, I felt like there was some opportunities for the PCAB to become more involved with that and being more proactive towards the appreciation of first responders, police, etc. Is there a committee that takes care of organizing them?
You're looking at her.
National Night Out, it's me,
You're looking at her.
me, Michelle.
Well, if there's anything that we can do.
Yeah, we actually start at the top of the year. I think Michelle allows me to start working in February. She's like, all right, this is plenty enough time. Yeah. And then we just continue to reach out to people saying this event is happening. Do they want to attend? And we try to get their funding so we can have more free things for the community. But But yeah, if anyone wants to join with that, send emails, call, ask for money. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I think you can find a spot for everybody.
I sure can.
Yeah.
And
You can
Yeah.
find a spot for anyone that wants to help, that's for sure. Takes a lot to put it together.
Yes,
I'm sure it
and
does.
so we have to start in February.
So you just gained, there you go.
Thanks.
What is the national night out?
It is the first Tuesday in August.
What is it celebrating?
It is a national event.
And it's at night.
Yes.
Okay.
We do from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. But National Night Out is where different police departments come together with the community. And it all looks a little bit different, looks based on what I'm seeing from the police departments, but we offer free food and we have like a DJ, we have kids activities, a lot of touch a truck events. And this year it was huge. Every year we do it in the Essex High School parking lot. This year the parking lot was packed. And yeah, people just come, they eat the free food, they
I
enjoy
know
it.
I've heard that you talked about it
Yeah.
before, it's a thing.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure if it was a different kind of night out. I wasn't sure.
No. The whole idea was originally, and it still is to get people to come out and meet their neighbors
Mhm.
and just talk about their community and be in the community and that kind of thing, so. And be a part of it with the
It
police
was
department.
fun.
Yeah. And I think it also helps bridge the gap between the community and the police to show like we're here, we do this event for the community to just like come and talk to us, hang out with us and see what we have to offer.
There was a booth at the high school
Mhm.
parking lot or
Yep.
something.
I was there this summer.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I could see adding to is perhaps having a service dog booth, a place where people could really understand the difference between your regular mutt and a well-trained service dog.
Yeah.
If my dog behaves herself.
It's a great idea.
So I think those are my ideas, and I'm hoping that others have some.
I like the idea of kind of going on tour to some degree and being more accessible in the community. I think sort of seeing how that would feel out, whether it's in my mind that's like, hey, putting up some posters saying, hey, I'm gonna be sipping coffee at X coffee shop, sitting at a table, little sign for 4 hours, come drop in casually, let us know what you think. We have a kind of a back and forth, safe, accessible, off the record for folks, data collecting for us. That sort of thing is sort of what I would envision as far as a drop in, or as far as going on tour. Certainly as we talked about last time, like, seeking to be more present at things, the community events and you've got Dan, you're in the train camp
Right.
coming up.
He's driving the
I'm
train.
looking
He didn't
forward
tell you
to
that,
it.
but-
Yeah, it's a good one.
Where did it go? No. What about going to places, where groups who don't usually travel around much like that, the senior center, and not just giving a little talk and maybe hanging out with them.
Which I think is like I think that's perfect. Like, just giving space for people in the community in populations where I'm thinking of one local bakery in particular, which we've talked about in the past as being sort of not as pro police friendly, and being there and being present for the good, the bad, the ugly kind of conversation and trying to just help learn from people and give support or information if that's something that folks are interested in. But I love the idea of going to seniors centers. I love the idea of going to as one of our respondents sort of cited, like their Section 8 housing or if we have specific, I don't know specifically in our community, but if we have areas that have a higher population of folks with mental health challenges, like if we can put signs up saying like, hey, like, we're happy to meet and talk and just kind of better understand where you guys are coming from so we can support you. Like, I think that would be a cool outreach.
Did you go to Coffee with a Cup?
No, the quality bake shop, I've never been to Coffee with a Cop. I mean, I see cops all the time, you know, I
Yeah.
spread the chair out, but I hear you.
You said you were going to last meeting, so it's just why I asked, and so, anyway.
Stood me up.
But I think also, you know, and I was dressed as Waldo at the Pumpkin Palooza, so that's a thing. But like, how do we?
You're approachable that way.
Well, yeah, people are finding me everywhere. But
That's what I was thinking, how do they recognize who we are and what we represent?
exactly, you
I
know,
mean,
so like,
just to walk up to somebody, they're gonna be like, who the hell are you?
right,
you know.
and so like, I think it's good to, you know, we are community members. We should.
Yeah.
My
Like
staff,
community members.
old staff.
There you go.
Oh, yes, I'm up for that.
That's what I'm wrong. But, you know, do we have, is it a t-shirt that says something? Is it a, you know, like, do we have a little sign? Like, how do we make ourselves accessible and
Yeah.
to the community as far as like, hey, ask me, AMA, you know, ask me anything. Hats or something like that. I don't know.
I mean, so we have a budget that can be used for various projects that the police community and the PCAP is working on. So, if it was like, if people wanted to get, if you wanted to get like polo shirts or something like that,
Mhm.
you know, as you guys were talking about before you brought this up, I was sitting here thinking how we could do this, you know, and if it looked like maybe a shirt similar to this, that doesn't say police on it, it said Police Community Advisory Board. We have one similar that you wear that doesn't say police on it,
Mhm.
something like that, or, you know, something, and maybe some, like you said, some signage that looks more professional. Alyssa could design something and have that printed, as, you know, whatever Police Community Advisory Board, come talk to us, you know, so things like that. Whatever you guys
Right
do.
down on Pearl Street.
Yeah, we can get shirts done right here, so.
Cause that's where I've gotten them, when they get, the guy is a Mount Mansfield graduate, he's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, we've got a vendor here that already has our logo, all that stuff, and we just change it however we want to.
I would be. I don't know. I have like a knee-jerk reaction of being leery about having like the crest on it. Only in, like I want to be accessible. Like obviously I want us to affiliate and to be recognizable as Police Community Advisory Committee, but also not off-put people who might feel that would make us uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if it's something like, you know, on the back of the shirt, you know, like, you know, we're here, we're interested, we're, you know, I don't know what we would say exactly, but something sort of encouraging our mission and our accessibility and like
I would
ask us
like-
anything, tell us anything, whatever.
I would like to point out that accessibility for some is a non-visual deal.
Mm.
So I would like for our group to keep that in mind, that accessibility means different things to different people.
Mhm.
And it's nice that we want to have some kind of identifying thing, but then we also need to remember, we've got to also do the, make the initiative to someone who might read that.
How would you see that best or?
Well, if it was somebody like me who wandered in, I had fantasies about going to the quality bake shop. If you see someone like me wandering in and I have a dog or a white cane, I might approach them and say, "Hi, I'm from the Police Community Advisory Board. Are you looking for us? Are you interested in talking to us?"
That's great.
I mean, it's not difficult, you know, it's so interesting to me that people are still afraid of talking to people with disabilities.
Mm.
In general, we don't bite, in general, you know, just come introduce yourselves. But definitely, I mean, if I had gone to there or, Uncommon Grounds, I hate going to a place where I don't think I'm gonna know anybody.
Mm.
I hate it so much that I don't do it, so. I hope you get over that, folks.
No, I thank you for sharing that. I think that's good for us to remember. You know, as you say, accessibility, you know, looks and sounds like a lot of different different things to different people. Yeah.
And it could be they just don't know, they're afraid of offending people, so they just avoid it altogether. You know, cause a lot of people with disabilities, unless you have a physical disability, people don't see it. You know, people with autism, people with all these different things, you don't have a label. So people just assume that you're not disabled, where you could be.
There's a lot of assuming.
Yeah, there is. Yep.
Do we want to, I don't wanna do it tonight, my brain can't handle it, but over the next month, just sort of brainstorm what we would think maybe we would wanna be visually advertising to folks as far as our approach. And I think what we would sort of summarize visually advertising, whether it's, you know, on, like you say, a sweatshirt, and or some signage, that can roll also into kind of what we verbally express ourselves to, like the visually impaired, community members who we are then trying to introduce ourselves to and not be shy about. Is that?
None of you seem shy to me.
I will come up with 3 ideas. If everyone had 3.
Yeah.
Alyssa, will you make sure that you get that written in the
Yes, everyone.
Dan?
Well, hold on a second. Are you talking about the quality bake shop again? Are you going back there? Cause I wanna refer to the minutes that have been admitted. Yeah, we talked about it.
We did.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, Alyssa shared the upcoming events that
Yes.
the PD will be attending until the end of the year. The PD will be having coffee with the Quality Bake Shop on Wednesday, 10/28 at 8 AM to 10 AM. Gwendolyn asked the board to attend these events with Alyssa. Jenny will be attending the Pumpkin Palooza. Gwendolyn will be attending the Whimsical Walk. And Dan will be attending the Train Hop.
Well, let's talk about.
So there's
that.
nothing about me attending coffee with the.
I think you had said you were interested and you had a conflict.
Thank you.
And you also said that they were great.
Yeah.
We talked
I just
something about them being.
If I hadn't
sweet
had
old-
great minutes,
So,
I would have had to let it go and go, wow.
trust me,
I promised,
this-
Gwendolyn's nothing in my heart.
stimulating conversation.
Yeah. Was it well received?
Yeah, it was. Actually, it was. And it's funny because that place has been the same for decades.
Well, when
Right? And
I,
I think that's part of the
Yeah.
appeal, isn't it?
It sure
Right.
is.
Yep.
20 years ago, it was the people sitting on the stools and we called
Yep.
them, my father called them the Board of Trustees. Because
Yep.
the village, older people would all go there and complain about politics and all this stuff.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of what it is.
And I haven't been in there in years.
They
No, it
did
was
that.
very good.
Somebody came in and said that.
Yeah,
They were talking about that.
it was a Yando, I can't remember, there was some older guys and we'd walk in, cause I'd go meet my dad there for coffee. And he'd be like, oh, the trustees are here, it must be a hot topic or something.
Well, this is an excellent way transition maybe into the upcoming events. And Alyssa, you've had some information about the Whimsy Walk.
Yes, the Whimsical Walk is not having a table. They're asking the police department to walk around and just hand out candy canes to kids.
So you might be off the hook.
Yes.
Yeah. What's the train stop one? Is that a sitting down?
That is, yes.
Yes. Yep. The train hop, they put us at one of the destinations. Like last year, I was at the Mandela Cutties. They thought I was the waitress there.
Oh, God.
And yeah, they put me at the podium. So I stood there. And they do have a table where they put the train, but we always have a table too, if you want, we could bring that. But it's inside. It's pretty cold though, where they had us last time. And kids just come around, they see the trains. Actually, a lot of people come around. It's not just kids. Kids come for the stamps, but the community loves it. And it was my first time last year, and I know nothing about trains, so
Model trains.
Yes.
It's a whole model train enthusiast.
yeah.
Oh.
Experience.
Just to be clear, because I don't want to miss it. It's at ADL, right? I go
No.
to ADL,
Nope,
okay.
that
And it's
is
at
Troy's
4:30
Toy
at
Drive.
least? 4:30.
No.
You're thinking the toy drop.
So,
Yes.
so, no, so Dan, you had a conflict. There was, you initially said you were gonna do one, and I can't remember which one. You said you were gonna do one, and you're like, ah, crap, I can't, cause I have another conflict, and then you were gonna do, and then we also talked, you also talked
I'm
about
on
the
the
toy drive.
train.
You're on the train
At
hop,
the
you
Maple
can't do
Street
the toy
Park.
drive.
I can.
We don't know where the location is yet.
Okay,
They haven't sent that information to us yet.
thank you.
But the
All right.
toy drive is at ADL.
Yeah.
Yes,
Is it the 6th or the 13th?
so it's the sixth.
Cause I saw the 13th.
Yes, yes. So, that's what we have on our calendar, but then we updated it when we got the email from Troy. So it is the sixth from 4:30 to 6:30.
Now, somebody opens up ADL?
No, it's all outside in the parking lot. It's very cold.
So I get my hunting gear out.
But we do have availability for that one.
Yeah, I can work.
You want to?
Yeah.
Okay,
Fine.
great.
Okay, that's the toy drive?
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, if you wanna come sit in the cold with me. No.
Maybe, I don't know.
That's the weekend away. So.
Okay, cheers.
Is there something I need to do to like designate that's what I'm there for, or?
I have pamphlets printed out for PCAB, but we will have a table.
Okay.
And yeah,
Just come join Alyssa
yeah,
Oh, you'll be there,
yeah,
okay,
yeah. Mhm.
Yep.
perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
and whoever else we have there, there'll be somebody else too.
Yeah. I'll find some.
Yeah.
How many do you need?
We like to have an officer because they love the uniform, and then we like to have the cruiser because they have like the touch a truck event for the kids there.
Perfect,
Yep, so we'll be sitting by the cruiser.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, is that pretty much taken care of topic, are we? I guess I'm not doing anything.
I wanted to ask the board a question in regards to what we used to do when we first started. When we first started the board, we were having every month back then, but I wouldn't propose that this time. Speakers come in from the department, from various agencies and that kind of thing. Would now that we've got the survey, out there and that work is done, I think we stopped doing it because we really needed to focus on that. Would that be something you guys would want to do or have again, have people come in to give a 20-minute, whatever, 20 to 30-minute thing on whatever their topic is, talking about something related to the police department?
My gut is like yes and no. I think I'd love us to sort of really define how we are going to move forward in the next year and our role in the community as far as like projects and, whether it's Gwendolyn, we take turns going to Quality Bake Shop once a month and like hanging with
bad idea.
there. But I think it just, or whatever what was it, the local, whatever they call them, the
Village trustees,
Village
well, it was
trustees
the village back then.
But I think I would love to kind of ideally kind of curate that to match our projects. I don't wanna.
So over time, right, there's been a pretty fair balance. I mean,
Yeah.
you got your corporals and your detective
Yep.
sergeants and
Yep.
they're telling you about what they do.
Yep.
And that's good, because we're only here. But then we also have like Tabitha Moore,
Yep.
who you hired her
Mhm.
to teach what
Sure.
to your guys.
Yeah, she and I came up with a program for teaching officers on how to better relate with people of marginalized communities and that kind of thing, and throwing resources out there, and not just giving officers a fair and impartial policing policy from the state
Sure.
that says this is what you can and can't do. We actually gave them techniques to speak to people and that kind of thing. So yeah, that was something we.
So, and there was some discussion about bringing her back. And so anytime that woman can talk and.
Oh, yeah.
She's got a lot to say.
Yeah, she does.
That made me think of something too. Are there plans for the next, Citizens Police Academy next year?
Have not spoken about that yet, but I suspect that we will probably try to do it again in the spring, probably May timeframe, late April, May timeframe. So yes.
I think, my opinion, now I have taken that and I wish we could mandate that every citizen in the town and city would take that. But we can't do that. I would really love for, if it's Mike Cistolini or whoever, to come to us and talk about it
Okay.
and figure out how we can help promote it.
Mhm.
it's really.
Okay.
important.
Maybe in January,
Yeah.
do that, the follow, not next meeting, but the following one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a way of, I wonder, like with the Citizens Police Academy of like trying to find ways, because I know attendance was a big issue, right? Like that's why I didn't run last year. But trying to be like, hey, can we get a teacher from the elementary school? Can we get a teacher from the high school? Can we get a couple business owners? Like, can we really get like a representation of the community? And you know, so our like some of our community members who struggle with mental health challenges or you know, like to really have that class be a representation of the community to help kind of expand.
So we
This-
actually go out and recruit people from various
Right.
areas of the community and
Right.
then have them in, as part of that class.
Right.
Hmm.
It's not a bad idea. Back to school.
Because I think there's a lot of, I get a sense that there's a lot of resistance to be involved with the police because of the big P word, as opposed to like, hey, we're not represented. Cool. Let's really put our community in the community's role.
Full that idea by some people.
Are you talking about recruiting people to actually take the course or participate in presenting?
I take the course.
Okay, that would make very much sense. How would we bribe them?
Food works every time.
Well, and I wonder if like,
That was my only criticism.
There was no food.
There was no food.
Well, when you see Mike in January, you make sure to tell me.
food, and I think some employers are, you know, I wonder if there's any money for like grants or something like that to help
Yeah,
with that. You know, certainly I work at the health network and we have the opportunity for a certain amount of volunteer hours to be either, you know, unpaid or partially paid or whatever, like, but if they're community volunteer work, like I wonder, I don't know how we can swing that, but I'd love to see that class be like a representation, fill it with everyone who's like maybe partially skeptic also, like
oh,
let's,
definitely,
Mhm.
definitely.
Hmm.
And the things that they will learn.
well, I think we'd all learn, like, you know, it would be.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I think with a terrible idea, I'm so sorry. I never thought it was so loud. I apologize. Do we think, like, just kind of ripping off this, like, you know, we've got the idea of sort of, you know, our logo mission, we're all gonna kind of try to come up with three ideas for that, but, you know, do we wanna try to make one of our action items, like, trying to each come up with three?
I think Dan did make a strong recommendation of that.
Yeah, I don't know, to come up with three kind of like mission ideas for this next year as far as where we wanna really focus our attention.
I don't know if I would use the word mission, but yes.
Or, yeah, okay.
Goals?
And
Yeah.
Vince, if you have any ideas, please let us know.
Yeah, I reach out to Alyssa, not a problem.
Yeah,
Good.
good.
I'm also thinking too, just a thought. I'm wondering if PCAB is interested in exploring social media.
Well, that's why I talked about like failed blogging.
Yes, but creating like a Facebook or an Instagram or someone being the designated person for a front porch forum. But I think that if PCAB is out there on social media, you'd be able to grasp a bigger audience, let them know what you're doing, get the word out there that you'll be doing this event, that event. We can also tag you in it when we are posting that we're going to be in an event. Like, oh, we're going to Torrey Shore Drive and we're bringing PCAB along with us. Stop by and say hi. But I think that's another way to get community out there. Just an idea that you guys can explore.
I love that.
That's great. Great idea.
I think we gotta, I don't wanna say brand ourselves, but like, let's have our social media presence really match what we're gonna look like and
Yeah.
how we're going to frame ourselves in those instances
Yeah.
from an accessibility standpoint.
And I think that if you have a public facing page, that's when the community can ask more questions about like, who are you? What are you guys doing? Or how can I contact you or whatever?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's great.
I'm not gonna do the police academy, the citizens academy. I'm not gonna, I'm just going right out. Not gonna do it.
Okay. That's fine. Do we have time for a quick EPD update?
Yeah, I can give you a little bit. So next Wednesday, we'll have 2 people that graduate the police academy.
Yay.
One female, 1 male. So they have about another week of training after that, after they graduate. So we're thinking second week of December, they will be in field training. We have 2 more who we've hired that'll be going to the academy in February, and possibly 2 more on top of that. So we may have 4 people going to the academy in February, which is a real plus for us. If assuming that we keep the numbers that we have, that would put us at 30 out of 31 positions. That's as close to being full as it's been since I've been here. So pretty excited about that. And I think last meeting I talked about effective numbers. I have 1 person who just joined the National Guard, and he'll be going away to basic and then to OCS part of next year. And then another member who's already in the National Guard, and he's going to be deployed probably, we're being told, for most of the year next year. So we shorten those positions. Right now, we are planning on pulling back people out of our specialty positions with the DEA and with CUSI in order to fill shifts because of those vacancies. So we're making do as it is, but those are going to be temporary, hopefully, and people will go back into their positions as when we do get those 4 people coming out of the academy.
Just curious, Chief, what percentage of the people who approach you for a job do you actually wind up sending to the academy?
I would say somewhere between 5 and 10%. We're pretty selective. We're getting, I would say, 3 applications a month, which is better than what we had, 5 years ago. And I would say out of those, 36 or 40 applications a year, we get maybe 2 to 4 out of that. So we haven't sent anyone, these 2 that are graduating, we haven't had a graduation from the academy in 2 academies prior to this. So it all depends, what we get, what we don't get. We had some people that we had hired and then they didn't end up choosing to come and be part of police work. So we missed out there. So our staffing is in flux, but right now we're still doing okay. We had as you guys talked about, we had coffee with a cop at the donut shop. That was interesting. Had some good conversations with some people there. It was good. We would go back there again, I think.
Yeah,
They would have us back, that's for sure.
100%.
I mentioned Alyssa and I were on the radio talking about the police department and policing overall in Chittenden County. We were asked to be on there just before Halloween, so that was really cool. And let's see, what else? Budget season is here. I have to do budget presentations on December 5th for the select board and the city council. Our budget is pretty good. I mean, it's an increase because of the officer increases, the salary increases that we saw this year. So there's quite an increase there. But our operating budget is pretty close to being level funded as for this year because of that. And we're going to be okay. We'll be all right. We're not being asked to cut or anything like that. That's for sure. So we've got that coming, and then all of the various holiday things. So yeah.
Question, are there any events that EVD won't need to attend in January?
I don't think so. I don't think January, the winter time is pretty slack for events.
Okay.
It'll start picking up again in the spring.
Yeah, I met with the town Parks and Rec recently, and they said that they have some ideas that they want the police to be involved in. So nothing set in stone, but yeah, I did tell them that at the top of the year, we're pretty sparse with events, but they always said that they can find something. So yeah.
The next PCAP meeting, I'm probably gonna be giving you all a new policy to look at, or at least a revised policy to look at. It's our discipline policy, and we've been meaning to revise it for a while. I think I mentioned this a little bit ago. So I'll be presenting that to you so you guys can take a look at it and give us some thoughts on that. So,
That's cool. Thank you.
Is that it?
that's it.
Well, with our homework. Does anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
19.
Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you.